Hey, happy Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and today we are here with Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 64. And last week was part 1. This week is part 2, and then next week we have part 3 of the Savage Sword of Conan adaptation of Conan and the Sorcerer by Andrew J. Offutt. We're just going to show you the paperback here. So one of his Conan pastiches. All right, great little book. And littered with great interior art throughout as well. So I had some marked, and just to kind of give you a glimpse. So just nice stuff, done well, littered throughout the book. Just great little additions while you're reading the story. So last week was Savage Sword of Conan, number 53. This week is number 54, another fantastic Earl Norem cover. Just absolutely spectacular. Just Earl Norem is just one of the all-time best. It cannot be disputed. He is absolutely amazing. And Conan in the desert fighting some sort of sand beast. You will see what we're talking about when we break down this week's story. Now, this has a couple different parts to it, as every Savage Sword of Conan does. All right, and the first part, the only part that we're delving into today is part 1, which has the adaptation. We are not going to look at this little short story in the middle that's all text, or that's all prose, or the last story, which is a Solomon Kane story, which is another fantastic Robert E. Howard creation. For this 3-part series, we are just concerning ourselves with the adaptation of Conan and the Sorcerer by Andrew J. Offutt. So we're going to get into this and give you, well, let's show you the frontispiece though, because that is nice. Carl Potts and Neil Adams on this frontispiece right here. Beautiful piece of Conan artwork. All right. So part 2 of this adaptation is called The Stalker Amid the Sands. And we got a script by Roy Thomas, and we have art by John Buscema and inks by Ricardo Villamonte. Alright, so our story picks up with Conan just staring blankly. His mind is not at ease. He's at this oasis with his horse in the desert, and he's reflecting back on recent events. Just this issue's way of catching people up from last month. But hey, it's been a whole week since we discussed part 1. You guys might need it. So he's thinking back to last issue when he came upon Isperana and some thieves talking about stealing an Eye of Erlich. And this was after Conan had gotten a fight in a bar and escaped the bar after whooping some guys' butts, and then overheard this conversation while hiding out on a rooftop. He broke into this wizard's palace, his Erzul, and slew a couple people, slew some guards. Isperana escaped to the Eye of Erlich, and Conan got trapped, got Black Lotus, blew into his face, and then his soul was stolen and entrapped in a mirror by his Erzul. And his Erzul tasked him with finding Isperana and bringing back the Eye of Erlich within a month, or he would shatter the mirror and Conan's soul would be forfeit. So this is where our story begins in part 2 of this adaptation. And the Sumerian's not sure, Conan, if he believes in souls or not, but he doesn't want to take any chances. So he's at this oasis, the watering hole. He's making sure his horse doesn't drink too much and blow it up. And he's there to rest for the night before setting off again in the morning. And as is the case, there's like an uneasy truce at these watering holes. Anyone else that's there, you guys keep to yourself. You don't interact, and each their own, right? It's supposed to be a piece that's there. It's meant to water. So Conan notices that there's 2 other men there with him, and he's not paying them much mind except to be casually aware of them. Now Conan does make the mistake of dropping the Eye of Erlich, the little dagger-formed pendant. He doesn't think they catch it, and he goes to sleep. And he's still not sure if they caught it or if these are just common thieves, but one of them is sneaking upon him in the night. And he is stealthy, but not so stealthy that the Sumerian himself doesn't hear his approach. Conan wakes up, flips him, and the guy says, "No, no, wait, I give up. I thought you were somebody else," but it's all a ploy. Conan's not really falling for it. Yeah, we got this desert bandit attacking Conan on the next page, and Conan just runs him through up here, and that's the end of him. Now, the guy he was with comes around and says, "You slew him." He goes, "Well," and Conan's like, "He was trying to steal from me while I was asleep and murder me." He goes, "I had no choice but to protect myself. Don't make the same mistake as him. I'll give you a chance to leave and go about your way." But the guy ends up attacking Conan. Conan deswords him fairly fast, dunks him in the oasis water, and the guy pulls out a dagger, and Conan strangles him and drowns him in the water. Conan, though, not wanting to pollute the water source, drags the corpse out, and is on his way the next morning with 2 horses and more provisions and the loot that they had on them. Now, while he's traveling, Conan comes upon this group while looking for Esperana. He thought at first he spotted her, but it wasn't her. It was this guy. And Conan is just playing it easy right now because he still doesn't have a full read on the situation. And he's glad he did. He does, because 4 other men come out with him. And they say they're looking for a pair of bandits that have stolen from their king. And they're soldiers of the Empire of Tehran. And Conan's trying to weave a little bit of a lie to him, telling him that he is after this woman because she stole from a king and it's his task to bring her back, where Conan just needs Aya Erlich and it's his last ploy to save his soul. And they have an uneasy BSing with each other, these groups. They tell Conan they need to search his bags. He's okay with it. He says, "I have nothing to hide." They say, "Well, and drop your sword." He goes, "Yeah, that's not happening. I'll keep my sword on me." And the guy reasons, "Well, there's 5 of us, you're 1. I guess it can't hurt." Not that they know that Conan would just slay all 5 of them without a thought. And they spot some treasure in there, and they go, "Well, this is part of the list of the things that we're here to recover." Conan lets him go by, and his more important mission is to save his soul and to find Esperana. And Conan plays this very smartly, very diplomatically, and he offers them each a gold coin each, saying, "Hey, you guys must have dropped these in the sand," doing the quick little bribe thing. And the one guy's like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did." And Conan hands him each a gold coin for more information about Esperana and where she went. And the guard says, "Well, and Conan's asking him, is there a way that I can get ahead of this woman? It's imperative that I catch her to bring her back for the crimes that she's committed." And they say, "Well, there's a shortcut, but only 2 people have ever been known to make it through this shortcut, and not with their sanity intact." And Conan's like, "Look, that's a chance I'll take if you could just guide me." And the guys let him know where he's got to go in the desert, and they head off to get the 2 bodies of the thieves that Conan slew. And Conan heads towards this pass in the desert to try to get ahead of Esperana and cut her off. So he takes off, and they take off. And before long, while traveling, Conan comes up to these cliffs in the desert, and then he comes up to this cavernous crevice, and Conan knows this is what they spoke of, and he heads through it with the 2 horses to try to make his way through. Now, there's no sound, there's no wind, and all is quiet until he's a little bit more in. And once he's in, he can hear this moaning. He doesn't know what the moaning is, but he comes to the center of this crevice in the cliffs, and he comes across all these corpses that are strewn about, all with swords and armor intact and shields, and they're all just laying there dead. And Conan's like, "Stop your noise, I say. He's had enough of listening to the moaning. Show yourself or be silent." Probably something he shouldn't have said, because in the next instant, the sands come alive. They surround Conan. And Conan now knows that he is fighting the creature. Let me see. I can't remember what it's called. The Sand Lick. And this is what those soldiers had warned Conan about, that there was some sort of Sand Lick here. And so this supernatural creature has sprung up. The horses are scared. They the one that Conan is mounted on throws him, and Conan is left alone to fight this supernatural entity. And the creature is talking in Conan's mind, and Conan can kind of hear his own words in his mind. And Conan's letting him know, look, I can't breathe. And the creature's like, you have no soul. You have no soul. And the creature can't wrap its mind around it. And he goes, are you the thrice accursed Hizarzul? And now that name's come up again. And Conan's like, I can't breathe. I can't speak. And the creature's asking him again, where's your soul? Oh man, where is it? And he keeps asking him, where is it? You are not Hizarzul. And Conan lets him know, look, you got to let me breathe, and I'll tell you. So, you got a couple great pages with just some great inking as well to add to the art of John Buscema. And the inkings really help in bringing out these panels in the story. And the Sand Lick looks really cool and really menacing. And you really feel the peril in Conan's face. Like, I bit off finally more than I can chew. I'm going to die, gasping for air. I can't breathe, But the creature soon releases Conan to learn why he has no soul. And Conan lets him know that his soul is trapped in a mirror held by Hizarzul, and that he's tasked. And Conan lies to him and says that he's on a mission to kill Hizarzul. Not that he's trying to get the Eye of Erlich back for him. He's trying to play it safe while giving him the information he needs to keep himself alive. He says, I am sent by a well-born employer after Hizarzul, who even now rides hell-bent for Zambula. And the creature is in shrieking pain over hearing this news. And he tells Conan he has a tale to impart to him. And Conan's listening. What else is he going to do except die, not breathing in the sandstorm that this creature can create? And he learns that this creature is caught between worlds, and he is what he is because he was actually Hizarzul's brother, and Hizarzul murdered him. Now, him and Hizarzul were working on learning sorcerous secrets when they were set upon by the Khan of where they were living, and they were forced to flee with their lives intact. And when they were fleeing, they finally went to camp, and Hizarzul killed his brother, but in such a way that it trapped his brother's soul between worlds, and his brother now embodies the sand of that desert. He placed gold coins, that hot gold coins on his eyes, which burned there and trapped his soul. He cannot move on. And Conan is promising to go and kill him. And but the creature's giving him information because Hizarzul can't die a normal death. Just like the Sand Lick, who is his brother, couldn't die a normal death, which is why Hizarzul got rid of him in the way that he did. And he goes, from him, of course, or else by wrapping the mirror that contains it in the same tracks as I have stated will kill him. And he says the only way that Hizarzul can be killed is by iron forts in Stygia over a fire of bones. For from that dark land came most of our spells, or by strangulation with the hair of a virgin slain with a bronze and made woman after the hair is removed. And Conan is already disgusted by these guys. Like, gods, but you wizards are a revolting lot, all in all. But he takes the information. Conan says, well, I'll never overcome him. The horses are gone. And this creature has a way out for Conan. Alright, the sands kick up again, and Conan is transported through the air by the sands and set down upon an oasis. And it's from this oasis that Conan is going to set out on the next part of the adventure and see see where this adventure takes him. If he's going to be able to save his soul or not, and if the information that the Sand Lick gave him is actually correct. So all in all, it read like the centerpiece of a story, right? There's not really a conclusion. There's just the promise of a continuation at the end. Now, this was great. We're going to give the middle part of this a B, just because, again, it's a middle part. So you're not getting a conclusion. You're not getting a beginning. You're just getting this center part of a story. So if all you ended up with this issue, you'd have something that's a cool piece of Conan fiction, but you'd be missing 2/3 of the story, and it would leave you wondering. And as good as the writing is in the adaptation by Roy Thomas, it does have the failings of a middle part where there's no concrete ending, and so you're just left with a lot of exposition. You do have this great battle of Conan and the Sandlick and then the exchange of information, but it is all mostly exposition. You had the one battle scene in the beginning with Conan disposing of the two thieves, and the battle scene with the Sandlick, but otherwise, you're basically learning what you need to bring the third act out and carry that on and make it satisfactory. Overall, though, absolutely A plus art, A plus inking. The inking in this issue especially is really good. And of course, it's John Buscema art. That's automatically an A plus almost in every case with him. Even when he phones it in, it's usually at least a B plus or an A. This is him. This is him really giving a crap, and it's good. And of course, the adaptation by Roy Thomas, faithful. So the adaptation gets an A plus. But again, it reads like a center part of the story. Really good. Leaves you wanting more. And hopefully you read the first part, or you'd be left wanting at the beginning. But a great part two. And next week we'll get to the conclusion of this and see how it all ends. But that's it for this week, guys. Let me know what you thought of the second part. And until next time, keep it casual.